Hey guys, it's our last day for ethos, pathos, and today we're going to talk about logos. So on day one we talked about ethos. Those are arguments that are based in trust and credibility of the speaker. Yesterday we talked about pathos. Those are arguments that we're going to use pretty sparingly when it comes to our actual argument writing, but those are arguments based in feeling and emotion that try and make you feel something. So in the past, you probably used pathos with your parents by saying, "But Mom, I really want one." And you're trying to get Mom to feel sorry for you. So you've probably used pathos in the past. And let me ask you, has it worked? Maybe not all the time, which is why we don't use pathos all the time in our arguments, because it's not a very strong argument. That brings us to logos. Effective argument uses all three kinds of appeal. We need to use ethos, we need to use pathos a little bit, but we need to, above all, use logos. That's why it's at the top of this triangle. So today we're going to talk about logos. So logos is talking about logic or reason. So to use logos as an argument strategy, you are arguing in logic, not feeling, not trust, but logic. So our English words are logic and logical. Logos refers to any attempt to appeal to intellect. So we are talking about facts, statistics, and reasons. Logos appeals to the left side of our brain. We find patterns, conventions, and methods of reasoning to be convincing and therefore persuasive. So numbers, polls, facts, statistics, they're all examples of the persuasive use of logic. So logos is a pretty effective argumentative and persuasive strategy because when the audience is presented with facts, researched evidence, supporting the claims, the audience is more likely to consider the claims valid. That means they're more likely to say, "Yeah, I agree with you," because you've confronted them with the facts. So logos is much more important in argumentative writing than it is in persuasive writing. So that's our difference between pathos and feeling and logos and logic. So let's dig into that. I'm going to show you something and I want you to answer this question. How is logos or logic used here? Ready? So 5 seconds is the minimal amount of time your attention is taken away from the road when you're texting and driving. So let's picture that. We're behind the wheel of a car, we look down at our phone, and we're responding to a text message. It'll take us about 5 seconds. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, was that a very long amount of time? No, not really. But think about it this way. If you're traveling at 55 miles per hour, which means you're on a highway, this 5 seconds equals driving the length of an entire football field without looking at the road. Woo! So 5 seconds wasn't a long time. But if you're going at 55 miles per hour, you have driven in 5 seconds the entire length of a football field. Now, we might have some football players in this class or some soccer players or people that are on a field. Can you imagine running from one side of the field all the way to the other side of the field with your eyes closed? I don't think so. Probably not a good idea. You're going to run into a lot. So yesterday we watched a commercial about texting and driving that used mostly pathos. It was a pretty emotional commercial. This is an advertisement about texting and driving using mostly logos. So here's my question for you. Which advertisement is more effective for you personally? Was it the video showing mostly pathos, or is it this picture advertisement using mostly logos? Which one was more effective to reach you about the message of texting and driving? Some of us are going to say, "Oh man, Miss Smith, that video messed me up. I was all kinds of teary and I felt so sad for that family and her friends." Well, that means that the video is probably more effective for you. Pathos is probably a very effective means of arguing with you because you feel sorry for other people. Some of us are going to say, "Ooh, this picture did it." I mean, when you say 5 seconds and that's the amount of space that you cover in 5 seconds, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I can't believe that. And that logic just hit with you. So some of you are going to say, this picture advertisement was more effective. Either answer is okay. Some of us are going to say the video, some of us are going to say the picture. Either is okay, but they're two very different argument strategies. So as we finish up thinking about logos today, here's the questions you need to ask yourself. 1. What claim or what truth is the author or speaker arguing? In this case, it was texting and driving and how bad it is. That's the argument. That's the claim. Is the author or speaker, is the evidence relevant to that claim? Does the author and speaker include logical fallacies in his or her argument? Is there logic in that argument? Are there facts? Are there reasons? And lastly, what evidence does the author and speaker use to support his or her claim? So not just, well, here are my facts and there are a bunch of studies done, but here are the facts, here's where the studies came from, this is the data, and that person really lays it out for you step by step. So today, last day, kind of looking like ethos and pathos, we're going to spend on logos. So again, we have a commercial, we have a discussion board, and we have a few more commercials to watch that are based in logic. So once we're done, this is the last day. Get ready to start arguing come next week. We're going to do a check for understanding tomorrow. Make sure that you've got ethos, pathos, and logos down pat. And then starting next week, we're going to start arguing and we're going to start debating. So, foundation is laid and let's have some fun.